All right, folks, we are live again. Welcome, welcome. And as always, I didn't grab the link to our Discord server for you. I always mean to get that ready. And every time I press go live, I'm just like, where's the link, brah? Where's the fire, brah? Okay, here it is. Welcome back, welcome back. Make sure you smash that like button. Just got to do my invites here. Boom. Discord server. Pin. Make sure you guys are engaging in the text chat here on YouTube. It's going to be very busy today. Last time I couldn't even read it. Some of it was too fast. What up? What up? All right, folks. Welcome, welcome. Here we go. Trump is bending over for Putin. Is anybody surprised about that? That's right. Trump is bending over for Putin. At least that's what I'm reading. I want you to tell me why I'm wrong about that. So Western leaders are reacting with dismay and anger over Donald Trump's proposed peace plan for Ukraine, which includes conceding territory to Russia, ruling out NATO membership for Ukraine, and rejecting Kiev's goal of reclaiming all occupied land. European politicians, including the EU's top diplomat, Kaja Kallas, and UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, strongly oppose any deal that excludes Ukraine and warn against, quote, appeasement, drawing comparisons to failed pre-World War II diplomacy. While Trump insists negotiations will involve both Russia and Ukraine, European leaders demand a role in the talks, pledging continued support for Ukraine. The Kremlin has signaled that Ukraine will be part of negotiations, but hinted at a separate U.S.-Russia track. So what kind of precedent does this set if we just allow nations to invade, attack other nations, and then award them land and territory for doing so and raising the issue, raising the conflict? What are we saying to the bullies of the world, the bully countries of the world that are going to do this and probably continue doing this? I think there should be zero tolerance for expansionism. And, under the guise of, these people, these areas want to be Russian, or these areas want to be German, or there's mostly Germans in these areas anyway, or there's mostly Russians in these areas. I'm getting sick and tired of all the apologetics circling around Putin and the people that give Putin power. And a lot of that, I think, by demonstration here, is coming from Trump and Trump supporters. It seems like every time I talk to a Trump supporter, there's this soft, apologetic way that they're talking about Putin and what Russia is doing to the Ukraine right now. And I find it disgusting. And, some of them are so, gone in these conspiracy theories about how like the Ukraine is like harboring Nazis and all this stuff. Most people have thrown that trash away, but it's I find it pretty disgusting when this president that is supposed to be about making America great and strong is acting like a fucking pussy when it comes to Russia and Putin. kind of the place where he should bring that, that belligerent, outward extroverted attitude to the table. Maybe a place where it would be justified, and like the one place where it might be justified, he doesn't do it, and he acts like a dog with his tail between his legs. I find it disgusting. What up, everyone? Welcome back. Make sure you smash the like button. We're going to be live for a while here. So during Trump's 2024 presidential campaign, Trump pledged to end the Russia-Ukraine war swiftly, asserting he could achieve this within 24 hours. Did any of his followers actually believe that that was true? Based on what they were saying in some of my streams and online in social media groups and whatnot, it seems like they actually believed that, which is like peak cult capture if you believe that Trump could have ended this war within 24 hours of taking office. And now, as of mid-February 2025, negotiations have commenced, but we're nowhere near close to a final resolution. And the conflict remains unresolved. So another broken Trump promise, a ridiculous promise, but he made it. And what do these territorial concessions look like? So the plan suggests that Ukraine may need to cede certain territories currently occupied by Russia, effectively recognizing Russia's control over these areas. NATO membership exclusion. It rules out the possibility of Ukraine joining NATO in the near future, aligning with Russian demands and diverging from previous U.S. commitments to support Ukraine's NATO aspirations. Ceasefire and security guarantees. The proposal advocates for a U.S. brokered ceasefire with security guarantees for Ukraine potentially provided by non-American troops, as the U.S. plans to limit its direct military involvement. So basically asking Ukraine to concede. That's what I'm seeing here. Do you guys see anything different? Does anyone see this differently? It seems like Russia's getting everything and the Ukraine's getting nothing. I find this absolutely disgusting. Is anyone else outraged over this? Let's see. Someone says, cry more, beta boy. Okay. America voted for this. Yeah, they did. All these people saying, daddy Trump. Well, now Trump is calling Putin daddy. So in a way, you're calling, if Trump is daddy, then Putin is your grandpappy now. How do you feel about that? I don't know if that's like what the Trump cult really wanted, or the people that, believe everything that Trump says, everything that comes out of Trump's mouth is true. I don't know if they wanted Putin as a grandpappy, but that's what you got. That's what it's looking like right now. You got your daddy Trump and grandpappy, and let's look at all the great and wonderful things Trump has said about Putin and Russia over the years. Praising Putin's leadership. Trump, in 2015, referring to Putin as a strong leader, and expressed admiration for his leadership style. Well, let's see if strong is a reasonable way of describing Vladimir Putin. Let's start with war crimes and aggression in Ukraine. This is obviously most recent. Everyone's familiar. Invasion of Ukraine in 2022. Under Putin's directive, Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, leading to extensive civilian casualties and widespread destruction, killing his own people too. forced deportation of Ukrainian children. The International Criminal Court, ICC, issued an arrest warrant for Putin in March 2023. Well, maybe they do have something in common. Accusing him of the unlawful deportation and transfer of Ukrainian children to Russia, actions classified as war crimes. Are we seeing this as strong yet? Is the strength coming through? Hello? Domestic repression and human rights abuse, suppression of political dissent. The Russian government has systematically targeted opposition figures, activists, and critics. Notably, opposition leader Alexei Navalny was arrested and imprisoned upon his return to Russia in 2021, facing harsh treatment and extended sentences. Erosion of press freedom. Independent media outlets have been forced to shut down or have been blocked, and journalists critical of the government have faced harassment, imprisonment, or even assassination. Torture and inhumane treatment. Abuse of prisoners of war. Reports have surfaced detailing the torture of Ukrainian prisoners of war by Russian forces, including beatings, electric shocks, and other forms of inhumane treatment. Systematic torture in detention facilities. Leaked videos and testimonies have exposed widespread torture within Russian prisons, where inmates are subjected to severe abuse by officials. Crackdown on LGBTQ plus rights. Anti-LGBTQ plus legislation. The Russian government has enacted laws banning LGBT propaganda, quote, and has designated LGBTQ plus movements as extremist, leading to arrests, fines, and a climate of fear among LGBTQ plus individuals. Assassinations and mysterious deaths. Targeting of critics and defectors. Several opposition figures, journalists, and former spies have been assassinated or have died under suspicious circumstances, both within Russia and abroad. These incidents include the poisoning of Alexander Litvinov in 2006, and the shooting of politician Boris Nemtsov in 2015. So going back in 2015, Trump referred to Putin as a strong leader and expressed admiration for his leadership style. Sounds like a coward to me. And cowardice I see as weak. So Trump and I think, I guess, the opposite about Putin and Putin's Russia. Strong leader, my ass. He sounds like maybe the biggest pussy on the planet, to use a more colloquial term, but weak, so weak and cowardice, in my opinion. Questioning U.S. intelligence. 2018 Helsinki summit. During a joint press conference with Putin, Trump appeared to side with the Russian president over U.S. intelligence agencies regarding Russian interference in 2016 election, stating, "I don't see any reason why it would be Russia." So Trump appeared to side with Putin over over his own U.S. intelligence agencies regarding Russian interference. Discussing Crimea. 2016 campaign, Trump suggested he might recognize Crimea as Russian territory, stating, "The people of Crimea would rather be with Russia. They just would. The people of Crimea would rather be with Russia." Delaying military aid to Ukraine. 2019. The Trump administration temporarily withheld military aid to Ukraine, a move that was scrutinized during his first impeachment inquiry. See, withholding military aid, I'm sure that made Putin cream in his pants. I'm sure it made Putin cream in his pants when Daddy Trump said the people of Crimea would rather be with Russia. Recent peace negotiations. And we already went through this, that, Trump failed to deliver on his promise of having this war over in 24 hours. Doesn't seem to have gotten any further than anyone else. So good for Trump, I guess. Make sure you guys smash that like button. We're going to be here for a while. If anyone on Discord wants to call in and chat, we can do that. Damon says, Trump, yeah, make everything great again. Great by whose standards? Putin's? T. Falconetti says, did you really want Kamala in there? Kamala is a 10 billion times better choice if you're anyone that cares about human well-being than Donald Trump. Do you want me to read the list of why Donald Trump, again, is a dangerous person and a bad person and just a liar, deeply immoral individual, criminal, doesn't respect the law, doesn't respect democracy, tries to circumvent democracy whenever he can, gets caught by judges, and then he can't do what. Look at all the stuff that Trump is trying to do that gets blocked by judges. Do you think the judges are just blocking this for no good reason? Do you think 14 states are suing Trump and Elon Musk for no good reason? This dropped yesterday that 14 states are suing Elon Musk and President Donald Trump, arguing that the authority the White House granted the tech billionaire and his advisory Department of Government Efficiency is unconstitutional. Is the game going to be just to say that, oh, that's just all politics, man, and they're just coming down hard on him because he's exposing all this stuff, man? That's what's really happening. Yeah, I'm not buying it. I require evidence to justify beliefs like that. Yeah, so if you really want to talk about Kamala and compare their rap sheet, we can do that. There's not much of interest on Kamala's side with regards to immorality, breaking the law. You know, she's got a pretty clean slate. Almost, you almost can't find anything on here. People will be like, she has a nervous laughter when she doesn't really have a good answer. Ha 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 ha. Meanwhile, this other guy is a criminal, lied or deceived or documented over 30,000 times in his first bid as president. And you guys voted for him. Trump is a coward. I mean, if Trump thinks that strength is what Putin does, Trump is a coward by definition, in my opinion. No question. Keep crying, lefty. Well, I actually voted, I'm a Canadian. I voted conservative last election cycle because the conservatives were looking to purchase a whole buttload of new MRI imaging machines up here in Canada that I really, that I think our country desperately needs. So yeah, just, explaining me away or what I have to say is just, no, that's just a captured lefty. I don't think that's going to work. I don't think that's very believable. Why don't I go fight Biden's war? Which war is Biden's war, by the way? Which one? Please outline to me which war is Biden's war. We want diplomatic relations. Yeah, one way to be able to get into a space where you can do that or you can have that is to make sure that international law is upheld. You know, at the United Nations, there's an international law that everyone's supposed to adhere to. You know, expansionism won't be tolerated. The only reason why this is being tolerated the way it is right now is because it's one of the great powers of the world. If it wasn't, if it was just some little country on horseback, that would be thwarted very easily and they would be smacked hard down for doing such a thing. Expansionism of this kind is not supposed to be allowed. So I don't know what's, you know, I don't know why Trump feels it's necessary to bend over to Putin. Why not just keep supplying Ukraine with better and better and better and better arms until they're able to push back Russia successfully and secure their borders? Now, some say, "Oh, you want to trigger World War III?" If that would trigger World War III, damn near anything is going to trigger World War III. You can't bend over to bullies like Vladimir Putin. Do you think he's just going to stop with these few territories that he was able to win for his country, win back for his country, how he might think about it? You think he's going to stop there? Everything we know about Vladimir Putin tells us that he's just going to keep going. I don't see any good reason why he's gonna stop his geopolitical policies. I think the goal is to, I mean, based on what I've read from many political analysts, that the goal is to control Ukraine. And I think, you know, I actually think like what was going on, what the Biden administration was doing with Ukraine was right, to supply them with arms, keep supplying them, allowing them to be successful in defending themselves in this war, and providing support that way. And you know, it is only a matter of time, I think, when someone like Putin is at war, if there are enough of his own citizens dying, I could see a revolt happening in Russia. He's had a long time at the helm, and something like that, with just, you know, seemingly endless amounts of his own people being killed, his young men and women being killed, for what? For the promise of what? Just like a small piece of Ukraine or all of Ukraine. I don't think the people will stand for that for very long. Being openly against fascism earns a follow. The self-deluded right is totalitarian. If your opinion challenges the dear leader, you aren't free. Thanks for the $5 super chat there, Apex. Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, fascism does need to be resisted, and there is too much tolerance for fascistic attitudes in leadership today. The images of these two men up there, it's almost like they've pulled off a kind of postmodern version of fascism. That you know, Putin more classically, but Trump's is a more like, yeah, it's more postmodern. It's through a different lens. It's through the lens of entertainment, through the lens of, oh, no, I was just joking, man. Like, no, that's how I talk to people. Okay, like it's through that kind of lens, and it unfortunately it's very convincing. A lot of people like it because it also comes off as being very muscular. And I think the American people do want muscular leadership. Now, by muscular, I don't mean like male or masculinity. It could be feminine, muscular in that sense. But like Barack Obama campaign, Barack Obama, body of representatives, I think was a very muscular movement, and people really got excited and got behind it because it was strong. But it's really sad to see that the United States of America under Trump is a divided nation that is just about to boil over, it seems. But I think people should, stick with the democratic process, be out there arguing and debating these topics, holding these politicians accountable, holding leaders accountable, holding each other accountable, and try to do so in good faith in a helpful way. And by good faith, I mean just simply be sincere with your intentions when you're having conversations, and try to be as helpful as you can be. And I know it can be daunting and seemingly impossible to do that when you're faced with ideas that you detest, but it's imperative now more than ever with how divided things are. Dustin Buck says MAGA forever. What if MAGA changed its policy? All of a sudden, you can marry and bed a 13-year-old. Are you still MAGA forever at that point? Like, I want to know how deep your MAGA forever goes. Well, you might say, well, that's not MAGA. Well, think of any other disgusting policy that could be enacted that you would, that would cause you to burn your red shirt. MAGA forever sounds like something a cult member would say. Dustin Buck says, okay, you say MAGA forever. Trump is the best president we have ever had, Dustin says. By what standard? What do you think Trump has done that is good? Don't just say stuff like that. Give me your justifications for your belief. I honestly, Dustin, want to know your justifications. Why do you believe that Trump is the best president we have ever had? Did somebody tell you this and you just believe it? Did Trump tell you that and you believe it? Where do you get this information? What policy has Trump enacted that you love so much that you think is the best ever? I really want to understand this, because I'll tell you something. I do a lot of this live streaming and I have a lot of conversations on this topic, and I rarely ever get any specifics or any justifications when people claim this, that Trump is the best president ever. Give me something. Give me something. We got a caller. I'm gonna take. I believe it's Mark. What's up, buddy?
Hi. Yeah. What's up? Yeah. That's a crazy topic you have. I'm from Germany, and I followed the developments over the last days and weeks with the MAGA cult and the election and everything else. And of course, the last days when Trump started to talk about Ukraine and how he wanted to have rare minerals from Ukraine if the US was to support Ukraine, and then suddenly this peace talks. And I think, I wouldn't call it bow to Putin, because I think he made a deal we don't know the other half of. Yeah. So there must have been something in for Trump, else he wouldn't have made a deal. So that's one thought I had on that. And also it reminds me of the Hitler-Stalin Treaty, which was in effect before the First World War, when Hitler and Stalin met and signed a treaty that how they would share the space in between Russia and Germany.
Well, they were in specifically Poland, right? But everyone at the time knew that treaty that they signed was about as valuable as a piece of toilet paper that I wipe my ass with. Like during that era, my understanding of the history is that most people knew that was just basically like, don't we just don't want you interfering with our business here. And yeah, we're going to divvy up Poland, and we're not going to cross a particular line. But I think most analysts of that age believed that was just or maybe it's an already used piece of toilet paper. But I don't know what you think about that.
I'm not sure if too many people knew about it because it was at that time a secret contract.
It was it was leaked. I want to check this because I want to get the history right. But
Yeah,
because weren't they talking about this in the United States?
I don't think so. You know what they were talking about was getting other parts. You know where this appeasement came from. You know when he wanted to annex parts of Czechia, and there was this. That's when they talked about it, and they said, "Okay, I'll let him have that." You know, or when they united with Austria, and they said, "I'll let them do that." You know, that's what is more connected to the appeasement phase of that era. You know, where they thought if he would be kind of would have stilled his hunger if he got some. You know, they thought he needed some territorial gain for his inner to calm down the Germans or to fulfill expectations.
Yes.
You know? Sometimes it's, policy is about having fulfilling expectations of the people who voted for you or the public, and the same goes with Trump. You know, they expect from him something like peace in the Ukraine. But I think
because he promised it, right?
Exactly. So
one thing I wanted to just say before we move to the before we continue, the Molotov and Ribbentrop Pact had public and secret components, so we're both kind of right there in that. Like there were obviously secrets that were aspects of the pact that were kept very secret, but the U.S. did know of the secret protocol. But they weren't fully aware, but they knew of a secret protocol and some things about it as of August 1939. But as events unfolded, when the Soviets invaded Poland on September 17th, 1939, it became clear that some secret understanding had existed with regards to Poland. So interesting.
So I think that's a part of the deal between Russia and the United States currently. Is kind of an agreement. And what also came to my mind is that there are some ideologists on the Russian side and also on the US side who share common ideas. And they both had influence on the respective leaders. Like the one is Alexander Dugin. You probably heard of him. He has this idea of a Eurasia with kind of national states under the rule of Moscow. He published a paper called From Crimea to Lisboa, which is Lisbon, the capital of Portugal. So, and he wrote, you can look that up, I think it's called From Crimea to Lisboa, The Horizons of Our Revolution. You can Google that. And he has a 10 bullet point statement where he says, we won't stop here. We will continue until we have the entire European continent. And if we don't manage it by military force, then we will manage it by subversion of the Western democracies, and attacking LGBT will be a very good leverage.
Right.
So that's what Dugin wrote in, I think, 2014. And I think you got the same guy in I always forget his name. Is it Yavin, I think, who was an influence to J.D. Vance or somebody who pushed him into the office. Is Yavin something that makes sense?
Yeah. I can't remember the full name, but.
Yeah. So there also was somebody who says who has an idea of or supports ideas of not democracy but an oligarchy. Oligarchy? How do you call it and say that in English? Oligarchy.
Oligarchy.
I think. Yeah. Oligarchy, exactly. An oligarchy, or even more so, a state run like or as a company. So and no democracy at all. Yeah, and so I think there's a similarity between what Russia is today and what Trump wants to turn the U.S. into. And I think this is must have been also topic between them when they talked.
Yeah.
And so I think from that perspective, like Russia wants to expand, well, to the West. The U.S. wants to take Canada and Greenland and what else? I don't know. So I think they're on the same route towards an empire. Yeah, so the American empire and the Russian empire.
I mean, I don't really buy into that. I think Trump is just, a criminal who doesn't care about rules of law. He's just, and he's treating government and governance as though it's like business dealing, and that it has anything to do with like running a business, which it doesn't. It really has nothing to do, like the way you engage with people, how you use your words. Like Trump, like the way Trump could deceive someone in a business setting into getting them to agree to like a casino deal, he would think that that's good, strong business, being able to deceive someone. This is just Trump's track record. So he's a master deceiver, and he's going to do that on the global public stage, which you should never do, to put your country on the stage in a deceptive way is like committing diplomatic suicide. Like right now, like where the United States sits diplomatically, already I think they're in the toilet, and Trump has just started. He's already pissed off some of his greatest allies for literally nothing. Getting literally nothing, like on the scale of how much he has lost through just pissing in the face of great allies of his. He's really caused some damage that's going to be long lasting, and maybe even worse for the United States of America. His way of being is creating, hopefully it's a small group, but he's creating a group of young people that think Trump is a good way of being, that Trump's way of being is the right way to win in America. And by the evidence of his political victory, it seems to be that way, right? It's like you want to win, you want to get as high as you can in this country, you want to win the capitalistic game, play like Trump, lie, break the law, abuse women, whatever it takes, just dominate until you get to the top.
That's true.
So,
that's true.
Also, Adrian, I'll let you go in just a sec. Adrian, you say Zelensky is a fascist. Zelensky has not implemented policies at all that are characteristic of a fascist regime, such as a dictatorship, suppression of opposition, or militaristic expansionism. Yeah, go ahead. What disturbed many people in Europe is that they were openly talking about system and regime changes in Western European democracies. Like they have a right-wing party in Germany called the AfD, and the leader of that party had an interview with Elon Musk. So the U.S. currently is supporting the right-wing parties in Germany, and they already had support by Vladimir Putin. So now the right-wing parties in Western Europe have at the same time support from Vladimir Putin and Trump and Musk, and that's a terrible situation. Yes.
And this has kind of put America into a position where many people start to think of the U.S. like a Russia 2.0. like with a president which is not as intelligent as Putin, but with economic and military potential, with a much higher volume. Yeah.
Yep.
So and that's the situation the Western or the European or the EU democracies are currently facing, and well, he expects all European democracies to spend 5% of the GDP into military, and from what I've heard, some think that that he hopes that it goes to American companies, but I also heard discussions that this will go into upgrading the nuclear weapons of England and France, and into a European army.
Yeah. Well.
So that's the situation what I've heard of today, and so we are in the like in between two, like what do you call them, pliers, or like taking somebody from two sides. And that's, I think, the feeling people in Europe get from the US as until some weeks ago its strongest ally and a beacon of hope and democracy, and the leader of the free world is no leader of the free world anymore.
Yeah,
he's a threat like Putin.
I couldn't agree more. And obviously the rap sheet of Trump isn't like Putin's yet, and I hope nothing of that sort starts happening, or else there is going to be a United States war. There's going to be there's going to be an internal conflict that would get very ugly if there's I actually worry about, like, if there are legitimate assassination attempts that start happening, like by the tens, not just, assassination attempt once a month or whatever, but like when they're, and not just like on the individuals in charge, their families and whatnot. I really hope I am wrong about this, but I think this is going to boil over in the United States, what's going on right now. It's something, I hate to say it, but it's something I saw coming. I'm not claiming that the CEO assassination that just happened was like part of what I'm talking about, but I don't know, just with everything I'm seeing a lot of people in their rhetoric just show that they are giving up, and that they're starting to lose hope in a representative democracy. And I don't want to see that. I don't want to hear that. And someone just, thanks for the super chat, Chad Ryan. You say America is a constitutional republic, not democracy. It's a representative democracy. When someone says the United States is a democracy, that's what they're talking about. Yes, it is a constitutional federal republic. Yes, but please save your $2. You don't need to say that. When people are talking about democracy, they're just simply stating that the United States is a representative democracy.
Yep.
MR says, so I always make sure that I can give you my sources right now for everything we've been talking about today, if you want. They're coming from state.gov. We're coming from icc-cpi.int, hrw.org, Wiki, Wall Street Journal, AP News, fedbar.org, amnesty.org, atlanticcouncil.org, Forbes, more APN, NPR, Amnesty, more state.gov, iwm.org.uk. Those are some of my resources. Yeah, so I just think it's that, you know, hopefully Trump supporters, Trumpers, people who reluctantly voted for Trump, I really hope you didn't vote hoping that Donald Trump was going to handle Russia, Ukraine in the way that he has proposed to handle it now. I hope you're like, oh, fuck, I didn't expect this. I didn't expect him to bend over for Putin. I hope that's not what you voted for. I hope you don't want to see like, kind of like our caller here, Mark, is kind of talking about how Trump might want to move the United States of America in the direction of what he's calling strong leadership of Putin. I hope that's not what you want. If you do, I think you're heading in the way wrong direction. You need to flush it down the toilet, start from scratch, start from well-being as a moral metric as to how you're going to measure good in the world, and start focusing on how you can maximize well-being for yourself and those around you. How is he bending over? You want me to read it again? These are the main points. Demanding that Ukraine makes a territorial concession, that NATO membership exclusion be applied to the Ukraine. And what does Ukraine get in return? They get a ceasefire and some security guarantees. That's bullshit.
What?
They already have their
own.
They already have their own security guarantees by their own fucking hands.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing right now. They're providing their own fucking security guarantees.
And also, Trump wants access to the natural resources of Ukraine in exchange for any guarantees, which Ukraine already has by the Budapest Memorandum.
Yeah, and that's disgusting. Like, I'm sorry, like, when with Ukraine going through what it's going through, it really does take a disgusting fat orange businessman to weasel his way in there and start demanding resources in return. Like, yeah, the art of the deal. Always try to squeeze them for a little more, even if they're in the middle of a fucking war that they've been invaded. Fuck. Just brutal. Man. Yeah, and I would love to hear people try and justify how Trump's proposal or Trump's policy here so far is better than what the Biden administration was doing. Try to justify it. I'd love to hear it. Well, I wanted to give everyone an update on what's going on. Trump bending over for Putin. Maybe this is a trick. This is Trump's trick, and he's gonna pull something out of his ass and make really put the art of the deal into action here, and he's tricking Putin right now while Putin's deep inside Trump, and Trump's just thinking while he's bent over like, yeah, I've got him right where I want him. I don't know. Maybe that's happening. Make sure you guys smash a like on this stream. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you.